Good day, students. Praise be Jesus and Mary, now and forever. Amen. So today, we will be learning all about accounting. So first and foremost, let me introduce to you the MELCs. MELCs is the most essential learning competencies which is given by the DepEd. So meaning, ang inyong tun-an karon is magagikan sa MELCs. So, ang inyong subject karon is Fundamentals of Accounting, Business, and Management 2, which is ang one na take up na ninyong adtong grade 11 mo. So the topics that we will be learning on the first quarter on the Fundamental 2 are financial statements, which comprises of or compose of the statement of financial position, statement of comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity, statement of cash flows. Another topics that we will be learning are financial analysis, which includes vertical analysis, horizontal analysis, financial ratios, liquidity, solvency, and profitability. So daghan siya, no? And then on the second quarter is gamay-gamay na lang. Tulo na lang ka topic. These are basic bank transactions, bank reconciliation, and taxation. So before we start with our proper sa mga statements is mabalik ta sa definition sa accounting. So diba sa ni-remember ninyo sa inyong fundamental 1 na atay tulo ka meaning sa accounting. But mag-focus ta karon sa meaning sa accounting nga gihatag sa American Accounting Association, which is accounting is the process of identifying, measuring, communicating economic information to permit informed judgment and decisions by the users of information. So diba natay duha ka type of users. These are the internal and external users, which are sila gid ang pinaka-importante nga makasabot sa mga financial data nga ginahatag ninyo as an accountant or bookkeeper. Now, let us also review on the nature of accounting. So on the nature of accounting, accounting is an art. So it means that your expertise and your skills as a accountant will be used on the processes of accounting. Number 2 is accounting is a process. So meaning in accounting, we have a systematic series of step-by-step manner kung unsaon nimo gikan sa pag-analyze sa imuhang transaction, if it is a business transaction or not, up to the reversing entries, which will be itudlo na ko sa inyo later part. Number 3 is accounting is an information system, meaning in accounting gakolekta og financial data which is ato adayong ipasabot sa ato ang mga internal ug external users. And more importantly, ang accounting equation. So dapat dili ninyo ni malimtan ang accounting equation, which comprises of assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. So tanan ninyong mga transactions or tanan ninyong mga gina-analyze sa mga problems sa accounting is magabalik gid mo permi sa inyong accounting equation. So meaning mo siya ang pinaka-basic sa tanan nga analysis nga gakahitabo sa accounting. Lastly, sa ato ang review is the double entry bookkeeping, which is the debit and the credit, which is nagamit na nato atong fundamental 1 ninyo on the journal entry and on your ledger as well as your trial balance. So I hope na mo'y nahinumduman sa inyong fundamental 1. So let us start our lesson on fundamental 2, which is the statement of financial position. So on the statement of financial position, it is also known as the balance sheet, represents the financial position of an entity at a given date. It comprises of 3 main components such as the assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. So if you remember your accounting equation, si financial statement ang mas magpakita sa ilaha nga nung kinahanglan nga mabalanse nimo imong accounting equation. Also, Statement of financial position helps users of financial statements to assess the financial soundness of an entity in terms of liquidity. Liquidity meaning dali ra ba nimo makolekta ang imuhang accounts receivable, and then on the financial risk, which is naa ba kay kanang ang imong company is maka-invest ba in terms of buying land, property, plant, and equipment. And credit risk, ipakita sa financial statement kung kanang able ba ka mo bayad sa mga utang nga imuhang giutang. And business risk is imong business able ba mo expand to the assets and the equity nga available sa imuhang company. Okay. So, statement of financial position contains of three major accounts. Sa giingon na ako ganina, assets, liabilities, and owners, equity. So first, let us discuss assets. As far as I know, I've already discussed the accounts comprises in assets. So karon ato lang siyang ibalik. Assets is a resource with economic value that an individual, corporation, or country owns or controlled with the expectation that it will provide a future benefit. So, pareha sa imong cash, it will provide you a future benefit kay pwede nimo siya gamiton into an investment into a land, a property, plant, and equipment. You can also use your cash as for buying another asset. So, asset is also divided into two. It has current assets and non-current assets. So, let us discuss first current assets. So, current assets, accounts in assets are classified into current assets if it is equal to cash or will be converted into cash within a year. Next is used to fund immediate or current needs. Then, these current assets are items like cash, cash and cash equivalents, short-term investments, accounts receivables, and inventories. And also, current assets are valued at market price. So, kung unsa gid iyang presyo mo, gid iyang presyo pagpalit nimo. So, these are the current assets, or these are the assets classified as current assets. Cash and cash equivalents, trade accounts receivables, notes receivables, interest receivables, inventories, prepaid expenses, and supplies. So, if you wanna know the meaning of these accounts, so makita ninyo na sa inyong module. So, you have to read your module to understand the meaning of these accounts. But as far as I remember, I've already discussed the meaning of each accounts when we are in our subject Fundamental of Accounting 1 in your grade 11. Next, we will discuss the non-current assets. So in the non-current assets, they are classified into non-current assets, or an asset account is classified as a non-current asset if it will not be converted into cash within 1 year or within your calendar year end and fiscal year end. So used to fund long-term or future needs. So if current assets is used to fund current needs, non-current assets is used to fund long-term or future needs. So the items that are under non-current assets are investment, property, plant, and equipment, goodwill, depreciation and amortization, and long-term deferred taxes assets. So these are the accounts that are under non-current assets. The property, plant, and equipment. Property, plant, and equipment, these are your land, building, your service vehicle, your office equipment, your computer. So those are property, plant, and equipment. Intangible assets, these are goodwill, trademarks, patents, investment properties, and biological assets. Biological assets, these are kanang inyong mga baka. Example, kung farm mo, naamoy baka, naamoy baboy, naamoy kanding, manok, mo na silang mga biological assets ninyo. So next, we are done with the assets which has a current assets and the non-current assets. Now we proceed to liabilities. So from the word liable, so mga utang, no? So it presents obligations arising from past events, the settlement of which is expected to result an outflow from the entity of the resources embodying economic benefits. So meaning, imo ni siyang mga utang ni sa imuhang company. Okay. So if in asset natay current asset, naputay non-current asset, sa liabilities naputay current liabilities ug naputay non-current liabilities. So an account in liabilities is classified as current asset if is expected to settle the liability in its normal operating cycle, which is your cycle in calendar year end, which ends in December, and in fiscal year end is which ends any month of the year basta kay nag-comprise siya og 12 months. Dayon, letter B, it holds the liability primarily for the purpose of trading. So meaning it is a liability nga for example, nagpalit ka og imuhang ibaligya nga imuha siyang giutang. So kay imo man siyang ibaligya, dayon imo siyang giutang, it holds as a liability. It is a current liability. Then the liability is due to be settled within 12 months after the reporting period. So kaganina is dapat ang current liability, classified siya as current liability kung sulod siya sa imong calendar or fiscal year end. Pero pwede po siya mahimong current liability if it is in 12 months, meaning short term liability lamang siya or short term debt. So these are the accounts under the current liabilities: the trade accounts payable, notes payable, interest payable, accrued liabilities, and unearned revenues. So if you wanna know the meaning, nasa inyong module, and then napod ni sa inyong fundamental 1 nga mga notes. So proceed ta to non-current liabilities. So in non-current liabilities, an account classified into non-current liabilities is katong mga meaning sa current liabilities dili siya fit didto. So kay ganina nag-ingon man ta nga ang mga liability nga naa sa current liabilities lamang is katong mga short term. So sa non-current dito na rin ma-fall silang long-term debt, silang mortgage payable, og silang bonds payable. So the meaning are in your module. So you have to read your module. So this video is a purpose of helping you understand what is in your module. So let us proceed to owner's equity, which is the last major account seen on your statement of financial position. So in the owner's equity, it has the capital, the withdrawals, and the income summary. So capital is the investment of the owner. Withdrawals are katong gi-withdraw sa kanang owner or gi-withdraw para gamiton sa business transactions nga mga kwarta. And income summary is later on mabalaan na ninyo or magamit na ninyo in the closing entries. So those are the accounts na makita nato sa statement of financial positions. These are the assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. Now, let us proceed to the steps in preparing the statement of financial position. So the steps in preparing for statement of financial positions are these 5 steps. So you have to get your 5 columns para makasabay mo sa ako ang buhaton. Okay, so ang pagbuhat og statement of financial position or tanan nga financial statement is magsugod gina siya sa inyong worksheet. So have you remember your worksheet? Kung wala na dumduman, kinahanglan gid siya dumdumon. Okay. So, ang makita ninyo una sa worksheet is una ang ngalan sa company, which is Labasan Eternal Images. Dayon ang ngalan nga worksheet para mabalaan nga ay worksheet din siya. Dayon ang iyahang date, December 31, 2009. So sa worksheet natay account title mo ni siya nga atong account title. Next is the unadjusted trial balance, which is kung sa inyong mga problem given ni siya. Next is the adjustment. So the adjustment is kamo ang mag-solve ani. You remember? And then the adjusted trial balance, which is gikan dira gi-minus or gi-add nimo ang nasa adjustments mo ning amount nga mo reflect sa adjusted trial balance. And then diri na dayon ta sa tumoy, which is the very useful part sa pagbuhat og statements, financial statements. So una is the income statement and then the balance sheet. So the balance sheet mao ni siya ang atuang statement of financial position. So gikan ani nga mga amounts og sa iyahang mga account title is makabuhat ta og statement of financial position. So karon ato nang gamiton ang atong 5 columns. So gikan aning mga amounts and accounts sa ato ang worksheet, gamito nato aron makabuhat ta og statement of financial position. So sa gapangutana, ma'am nganong nagamit man ta aning 5 column? Ang purpose aning 5 column is para mabal-an ninyo ang plastada sa pagbuhat og isa ka financial statements. Kay para bitaw dili magkagubot-gubot ang inyuhang mga numbers and accounts. So let us start the making of the statement of financial position. So let us start the preparation of the statement of financial position. So in preparing your statement of financial position, ang una ninyong buhatan is you have to write the name of the company. So Labasan Eternal Images, and then the name of the financial statement, which is ang atong ginabuhat karon is the statement of financial position, and then the date, December 31, 2009. Okay, so manata sa heading. So mo ni siya ang ginatawag nato nga heading. The name of the company, the name of the financial statement, and then the date. Sunod, atong i-classify gikan sa ato ang worksheet kinsa ang mga assets. So ang mga assets nga naa ning sa worksheet is the cash, accounts receivable, photography supplies, prepaid rent. So those are classified as cash. So na-remember ninyo ganina we classified as assets. So na-remember ninyo ganina, we have two classifications of assets. These are the current assets and the non-current assets. So ang atong current assets diri is the cash accounts receivable, photography supplies, and prepaid rent. So ang atoa dayong non-current assets are photography equipment and office equipment. So diri sa ato ang 5 column, atong isulat si asset. So, we have to write the asset. So, kung unsang pormada diri, dapat sa inyong activity sheets, gikan sa inyong module is dapat pareha siya kung unsang pormada nga akong gitudlo sa inyo ha. So, gikan na ning word nga asset, natay indention nga current assets. So, gikan na ani. So, from this, atong tanawon sa atong worksheet, kinsa ang mga current assets. So, ibalhin nato sila diri sa ato ang 5 column. So, those are cash, accounts receivable, photography, supplies, and prepaid rent. Okay. So, gikan dira, atong tanaw ng ilahang mga amounts. So, diri na ta magtanaw sa ilahang mga amounts. Kay mo naman ni siya, these are the final balances. Gikan sa unadjusted trial balance, there has been an adjustment. So, there is adjusted trial balance, and then we come up with the balance sheet, which is the final amounts to be used on making your statement of financial position. So, pangitanin niyo ang mga amounts diha, ibalhin ninyo diri. So, sa diri, dili nata magamit atong debits and credit. So, ang purpose sa 5 column nga nung gi-require mo ani is para mag-straight siya, dili magkatibulag inyohang mga amounts, kay di ba namang gyapon siya butanganan sa mga amounts. So, pila man ang ato ang cash. So, our cash is 48,700. Ang accounts receivable is 15,000. Next, ang ato ang photography supply is 7,500. So, remember kung asa na siya nakabutang nga mga amounts. Because there are some instances na ang error nato is ma-fall lang sa the way nato gisulat ang amounts. The same as 15,000. Mahimo nimo siyang 150,000 tungod kay dili nimo siya gisugod. So, diba natay hundreds, tens, thousands. So, remember ninyo ani niyo ibutang inyong mga amounts. Next is the prepaid rent. So, 40,500. So, mo lang na siya ang imuhang current assets. So, pagbutang nimo dira, magbutang ka og linya. Okay. Then, diri, butangan din nimo og total current asset. Okay, so total current asset nato is 48,700 plus 15,000 plus 7,500 plus 40,500 is equivalent to 111,700. So, muna siya imuhang current asset, which is 111,700. Next, we have to classify the non-current assets. So, humana mo sa current assets, dito ta sa non-current assets. So, your non-current assets are your property, plant, and equipment. Your long-term your investments. And then, the intangible assets and the biological assets. So, in this problem, ang naalang is the property, plant, and equipment, which are photography equipment and office equipment. And as you notice, accumulated depreciation are contra accounts to your property, plant, and equipment accounts. So, in your statement of financial position, the pro forma would be, so, you write non-current assets. So, we have photography equipment, And then you less the contra account, which is the accumulated depreciation for photography equipment. So, photography equipment. Okay. Ma'am, okay ra ba nga mulahos? Okay ra nga mulahos. Kay, basta kay dili nimo matabunan imong mga amounts. Kung mulahos imong mga words. Okay. Next is the office equipment. So, office equipment less accumulated depreciation office equipment. Okay. As you notice kaganina, straight lang siya, di ba? So, karon is now may less nga nahitabo. Diri na to siya sa number 3 nga column ibutang. So, sa number 3 nga column na to siya ibutang. So, the amount of the photography equipment is 204,000 less its accumulated depreciation, which is 316.67. So, less na siya. So, magbutang ka og linya, di mailhan nga naa kay gibuhat nga subtraction between the two sets of numbers. So, 204 minus 3,316.67. So, it is 200,683.33. I'm sorry. So, 200,683.33. Okay, next, the office equipment, which is an amount of 54,000 and has an accumulated depreciation of 1,361.11. So, you remember, pagbutangan kayo natog ingon ana, meaning nagless ta. So, 54,000 minus 1,361.11 equals 52,638.89. So, now, we are done with our, so wala naman tayo another items, wala na tayo another accounts for the non-current assets. So, atuan nang ilahos ang atuang linya. So, pila naman ni siya? 200,683.33 plus 52,638.89 is equivalent to 253,322.22. So, mo na siya imuhang total non-current assets. So, we are all done with the assets. So, imo na din siyang i-total. Total assets. So, from the 253,322.22 nga non-current asset, i-plus na to siya sa current asset nga 111,700. So, you have a total of, so, linyahan yapon siya nimo. It means nga imong gi-add si asset og si non-current asset. So, kani siya, i-add nimo kani. So, diri din nimo ibutang imuhang total asset. So, ang imong total asset is 365,022.22. So, the very important nga imuhang ibutang is the double rule. Kani siya. Muna siya ang double rule. Nganong mag-double rule man ka? Have you remember your accounting equation, di ba? Assets is equal to liabilities plus owner's equity. So, ma-apply na to siya sa statement of financial position. Nga ang asset, kinahanglan ibalansin nimo siya sa liabilities and owner's equity. So, mag-double rule ka. Meaning, ang amount nga na aning total assets dapat mo reflect sa total liabilities and owner's equity. So, dapat balanse silang duha. Now, we proceed to the liability accounts. So, in the liability accounts, we have the accounts payable, the salaries payable, and the advances from clients. So, as you notice, puro sila current liabilities. So, in your statement of financial position, butangan ninyo og, so, in your statement of financial position, mag-space ka. You leave a space. Kani, i-leave nimo na siya nga space. Next, diri nimo isulat imuhang liabilities. So, sulat ka sa imuhang liabilities. So, sa ato ang pag-classify kanina sa account from the worksheet is mga current liabilities ang naa. Okay. So, current liabilities. So, from the current liabilities sa worksheet, sila ang mga accounts payable. Dayon, salaries payable. And then, just move the camera. And then, advances from clients. So, na ito maging unanay kung naay subtraction nga nahitabo. Division naman nun. So, kani siya, addition naman siya tanan, lahos ta dire. Sa ikaupat nga column. Okay. So, sa ikaupat na column, atong ibutang ang mga amounts sa mga current liabilities. So, the amounts in current liabilities sa atong accounts payable, it has 31,500. Sunod, ang atong salaries payable has 3,500. Dayon, advances from clients is 1,000. So, kaya wala naman tayo lain ng mga current liabilities, magbutang taog linya. Meaning, ato ang i-total. So, 31,500 plus 3,500 plus 1,000 is equivalent to 36,000. So, 36,000. So, as you notice, in our worksheet, wala na tayong non-current liabilities. So, we proceed sa ato ang total current liabilities. So, ang atong total current liabilities is 36,000. So, kaya wala na may non-current liabilities. We proceed to the last account nga kanang ato ang i-include sa atong statement of financial position, which is the accounts nga owner's equity. So, the owner's equity is the labasan capital and the labasan capital and the labasan withdrawal. So, atong ibutang dire. Again, you leave a space. Leave a space. Okay. Ngano ingon ani man. So, you remember the nature of accounting. Accounting is an art. So, natin mga internal and external users, so kinahanglan, makasabot po sila sa plastada sa atong statement of financial position because not all users has knowledge on accounting. So, at least man lang sa inyong pormada sa inyong statement of financial position or sa inyong mga financial statement, readable siya bisan pag dili kaayo kabalo sa accounting. Basta kay makabasa og numero og words. Okay. Sunod, butang tag owner's equity. Kaya nga nang wala pa ta nagbutang diri og total liabilities. Dili sa ta magbutang og total liabilities kay di ba ang atong equation is assets is equal to liabilities plus owner's equity. Human na ta sa asset, nag-double rule na ta. So kinahanglan ay hatang mag-total is mahuman nato si liabilities ug mahuman nato si owner's equity. So butang nato diri labasan capital. So, labasan capital has an amount of 350,000. So, from the labasan capital na i-add. So, i-add kung net income siya. Pero, i-less kung net loss siya. So, as you notice, diri sa imong worksheet, as you notice, net loss siya. Negative siya, meaning lugi siya. So, naagi mga instances ng isa ka company is malugi gyud kay dili man perpekto ang pagpa-negosyo, di ba? So, gikan na less. So, less. So, gikan na diri ta. Less net loss. So, i-less na to ang net loss with the amount of 4,977.78. So, 4,977.48. So, i-less ni mo. So, minus 4,977.78. So, it has 300. Oh, wait. So, 350,000. I'm sorry. Minus 4,977.78. So, it has 345,022.22. Next, di ba naman siya withdrawal? So, withdrawal, it is a deduction or a subtraction to your, capital. So, kay nag-less na taog net loss, mag-less na po taog withdrawal. So, less labasan withdrawal. So, labasan withdrawal is 16,000. So, minus 16,000. So, it has 300 minus 16,000. So, it has 329,022.22. So, this is panganlan din mo to siya nga amount nga total owner's equity. So, human naman ka sa imuhang liabilities which comprises of current liabilities kay wala man tayo ng current liabilities. And then, your total owner's equity. So, last nimong buhaton is magbutang kag total liabilities and owner's equity. So, i-total nimo sa current liabilities o ang total owner's equity. So, total nimo plus 36,000. Okay, balance 365,022.22. So, dili kalimtan the double rule. Okay. So, As you can see, your total asset is equal to your total liabilities and owner's equity. So this is your statement of financial position. So fulfilling a balance, diba? So in your module, you have 3 activities. So answer your activities. Kung na yung mga pangutana, PM lang mo sa ako. So this is your statement of financial position. This is your heading. These are your asset accounts, which comprises of current assets and non-current assets, and your liabilities and owner's equity, which liabilities has current assets and non-current assets, pero sa diri nga problem is your liabilities is current liabilities and non-current liabilities, but there is a problem is na lang tay current liabilities, and then your owner's equity. So yeah, tama na siya. Okay, thank you very much, students, for watching and listening. So I hope you learned something today. See you on the next video.